issued in Kenya at the end of January. We're now sort of coming to mid-March or thereabouts. Our folks have been working on that evidence. And as I've said before, as soon as our part of the investigation under our own laws are concluded, the cases will be taken forward.
All right.
Yes.
Are you able to give us more information? We've seen you talk to individuals, and we hear them coming out and they say it was a friendly chat.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be commenting on the details of the investigation procedure there, or indeed about individuals,
Right.
as that might do harm to their own cases. What people say to the media about what went on in there, I mean, that is their prerogative. All I know is our team has a job to do, and it's doing it diligently. And when the time comes, those files will be concluded and taken to the next stage.
All right. I know you talk about the jurisdictions being different between here and the UK.
Yeah.
But could you talk to us about, the specifics of the case? Because we know that the charges for them were conspiracy to give a bribe, as opposed to giving a... Just explain a little further to Kenyans, the threshold that you would be looking for to then successfully say, we have found persons XYZ culpable and we are, then proceeding to court.
Yeah, actually, the difference in jurisdiction isn't about the standard of evidence. As you well know, and as I think the public does know, these cases involved alleged to have involved individuals in Kenya having inflated prices of materials that were purchased from those companies out in the UK. Bribes were solicited, bribes were paid, according to the information that has been supplied from the UK.
Right.
And therefore, what we do wait for is our own systems interpreting that evidence and taking appropriate action.
Okay. 600 billion shillings, or a third of Kenya's budget, is a figure that you gave out in an interview this past week. You said that's the that is lost through corruption. It's a colossal figure, and Kenyans are slowly becoming numb to all of these billions of shillings that are thrown their way. Could you explain to us how you arrived at this figure? A third of Kenya's budget is lost through corruption.
Yeah, these are independent research exercises carried out. The World Bank has estimates of this type. The so-called Bretton Woods institutions do have estimates of this type. Other independent bodies that carry out research on corruption have estimates of this type. Yes.
So you were able to put together those figures because
by research
on
what people have found out.
Okay, yes. Cabinet Secretary Rotich is disputing this figure, saying it's bad, but it's not as bad as you put it. And he says it's a documentation issue. Receipts not being given here and there, and accounting not being done.
I think
what do you think?
It is unfortunate if we look at an issue that we have declared as a national security threat in terms of it being not so bad when we're only losing so many billions. I think that's not the way that I would look at it. Even if it was 100 billion, even if it was 1 billion, it's money that we shouldn't be losing to the scandals and the corruption that is happening. It's money that should be going to the intended purposes. So I wouldn't want to get into the debate of whether it's 600 billion or 300 billion. By the way, he didn't offer a counter estimate of how much it actually is. Okay. So it's not about whether it's 600 or 300 or 200. It's the fact that it's wrong for us to be losing this quantum of resources to corruption. Okay,
I just want to talk about, because these are some of the issues that you're going to see in terms of when you put out numbers, and you'll get, I don't want to call it resistance, but you'll get counterclaims that it's bad, but it's not as bad. I mean, we saw the same thing last year when the Auditor General revealed some of the figures. There's billions of shillings that were unaccounted for, not necessarily stolen. And you saw the robust response that came from the executive, the cabinet secretary as well. You've even seen what happened with the controller of budget as regards Eurobond. One would just ask whether you are prepared for the political uphill battle that is ahead. Even as you talk about having goodwill with the members of National Assembly, remember there was already a scandal of monies lost within the National Assembly. You will end up investigating these same members of National Assembly, with some of those scandals. So do you believe you have what it takes where others have, tried the same thing?
Right. I think my answer to that, Yvonne, is this, that you don't fight corruption in an instant. Where we've started from is understanding some of these complexities. We then are looking at a whole sort of menu of interventions, including cultivating that very political will that you refer to as part of winning this fight. Now, my confidence in being able to win is founded in the fact that we're not going to be promising you that tomorrow I'm going to fry so many big fish. What I'll promise you instead is we're laying a foundation, and on that foundation there's going to be some distinct actions, some of which you will see because they'll be in the public domain. Others will be the back office. But over time, we'll make it less attractive for people to be corrupt, and we'll make it clearer that if you are corrupt, the consequences are this, and they'll have been demonstrated.
All right, just very quickly, what is it you think you can effect almost immediately? It's an issue of resources. Yes. It's an issue both financial and personnel. It's also an issue of the staggering amount of cases that are before you, 55,000 cases.
Yes.
That you have pending. You don't have enough. What do you think for you is the immediate challenge that you'd like to solve that would sort of get the momentum going?
Actually, I'm starting it this way. First, I have to build political will, and that has to be demonstrated. Political will has been expressed. We now want to go beneath those expressions and get the meaning of it, and I think the public will understand when that is fully explained to support our mandate.
You do understand politics and politicians.
I do. Second,
and sometimes what they say isn't always what they want to commit to.
I would like to follow that up. Okay. And make it blatantly clear that the politicians mean what they're saying.
Right.
Second, I want to clarify to the country this menu of interventions that even they have to be involved in. Corruption is not an EACC responsibility. It's a responsibility for all of us, with EACC under the law taking the lead.
But surely Kenyans pay their taxes.
They pay their taxes.
And they pay the money to the EACC and your salaries.
And they also elect the fellows who, many of whom are not doing so well. They also put in place the government
that... And integrity falls under the EACC. It is up to the EACC to vet the leaders.
So in fact, those are some of the capacities that we're building, so that come the time that we're looking at applicants for public office, applicants for elective office, we're more thorough. We're going to be doing a slightly better job than what may have been the case in the past.
Okay.
So that many of interventions cultivate political will, demonstrate to the Kenyans that in fact it's not just EACC that is responsible for this. We investigate, yes. We help build systems with the executive agencies, yes. But that people should be held accountable for the jobs they've been given across the public service.
Okay.
You just mentioned EACC having this mandate,
right.
But so do ministers, so do public, to accounting officers, so do chiefs of parastatals, so do people at the judiciary, so do people in parliament.
All
being paid
right.
in
but
order
the buck does stop at the EACC with all of these state officers.
And we are going to take that on and take the battle in a manner that we understand where it belongs to, where people being held accountable for the jobs that they've been given in the public service.
Okay, all right. And we wish you luck, and we definitely
I'll need the luck.
We'll be watching. Philip Kinisu, who's the chair of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Our Twitter poll is still running. I think it should close in the next few minutes, so keep tweeting. The hashtag is Checkpoint.
Yes.
Do you believe he will succeed? Are you convinced by his arguments here tonight? Please do let us know. Hashtag Checkpoint at KTN News, at Yvonne Okwara 22155 also is the SMS. We'll be back with more.